Hello there, my darlings. We are on day 3 of Nancy Guthrie. Now, this is the same map that I first read on February 3rd. Today is February 5th, and it is 2:22 in the afternoon Eastern Time, and numbers are important. So this is the area in which they said she went missing, which is the Catalina Foothills near the Tucson, Arizona area. Okay, and we're going to keep this out here because of the energy. Here is our iron key that dispels negative energy. Yes, I have black on because I'm working with energy today, and I have decided that I'm just really going to get into this and treat this as though I am treating it personally. Now, we know that I'm not, and I'm going to say this is entertainment purposes only because of things. And I want you to also know I am not interfering with an active investigation and will not. So, just so you know. And if you have any information about this crime, and it is a crime, please consider calling the FBI. 800-CALL-FBI or 88-CRIME. So there we go. Now, my darlings, what I've done today, and I am going to get the cards out. This may be a little longer than normal because I'm going to show you what I do. First of all, for those who are new, welcome. Please consider subscribing and liking because that really helps. And I am a tarot profiler. I've worked in missing person cases many times. I've assisted many times. And we'll just go from there. Now, for me, tarot profiling is not predictive in the first part of it. When I lay out the cards, it's based on fact. And I look for confirmations, and then the cards start talking to me. And I think you may have seen that yesterday, and if you haven't, I'm going to link it right up here so you can. The cards will talk to me. And then we'll start getting information. Okay, the first day we started out with a pendulum. I may do some remote viewing tomorrow. We'll see what happens overnight. For today, this is part of a forensic investigation that I do. No one has asked me. I do this on my own. This is called a Zelda Codex Forensic Module Case Study. I put my own spin on numerology. Many people have gotten these. If you're interested, you can check out the description or at the end of this video, I'll put the website where you can order that. Now, and no, I don't do the forensic on everyday life. It is more life path, soul urge, if you have a particular focus, that sort of thing. This is forensic only because of Nancy's circumstances, beyond her control. So we have Nancy Guthrie there. She's been missing since January 31st from Catalina Foothills area, Tucson, Arizona. All these times you see here are based on Mountain Standard Time. There's no daylight savings, and that's important to this. So we have the event timeline. This is taken from law enforcement. So we see this all here, and we go through here. And as of today's date, she has not been located. So what I've done is I take the numerology, okay, I reduce the numbers, there we go, of key times. So 5:32 is when she met the family, or she returned home at 9:48, 9:50, the garage door. So these all reduce to 1, 3, 5. There's a method to this. The doorbell disconnects, that's a 3. A person of interest walks in the camera. Oh, and by the way, yeah, the sheriff. Oh, it could be an animal. I don't know. Did you see that conference today? I did watch it. Okay. So anyway, I don't talk about law enforcement, but I'm glad that there's an FBI agent there. All right. And his name is John Edwards. And no, he's not the psychic. he probably wishes he were right now. Then the event with the pacemaker disconnecting is a 3. So we have a doorbell at 3, a person of interest at 5. The pacemaker disconnects, which ends up to be a 3. The family checks on her, and this starts at 1:47. This is actually February 1st. I'm going to put that down here. February 1st, this whole timeline. Okay. Family checks, that turns out to be a 4. 911 is called is 5, and the sheriff arrives is a 6. Now, there's a sequence pattern to this, my darlings. So, the sequence above shows a repeated oscillation between 3 and 5. This resolving only when 6 appears. So, the 6 appears when the sheriff arrives. So now this starts resolving. Here's some interpretive notes that I've made. 3 repeats at moments of disconnection or interruption. Now, all of you can take notes of this. I know you're probably very interested. This is the scientific part. And my darlings, I do this because numbers do not lie, and they are very important. You see, because here's the sequence of all these numbers that I've done. So 3 repeats at moments of disconnection. The 5 repeats at moments of movement or transition. The 4 appears only one time, and it's tied to a physical discovery. The physical discovery is what? Well, when her family checked on her after poor Nancy didn't get to go to church, any of that. So that's when that has been the physical discovery. The 5 appears only one time, and that is the arrival of authority. I'm sorry. No, the 6. I'm sorry. I looked at this number. Good thing I got it written down, isn't it? So the 6 appears only at the arrival of authority. This pattern does not complete into 9 or 10. The 9s in numerology means a pattern has been completed. You see that in years. 2025 was a 9 year. It completed 9 years. 2026 is 10. You reduce that. 1 plus 0 equals 1. It is now a 1 year. So, that being said, everything has a completion, and it's based on numerology. So, with that being said, this remains unresolved. Now, here's what I've done, because based on times, based on the numbers, based on the numeric value and the major arcana. Here's what I'm going to show you. The first card, my darling. Let me get this out here. The first card is the Magician. The Magician is a Mercury card. No, it is not Mercury retrograde. You see an infinite symbol there. The robe is power and authority, and it is control. Now, here's the really cool thing about the Magician card. I like to call it the manifestation card, because he's holding up his hand and one down. His motto is, as above, so below. So things have got to now correlate. The frequency has to match. And there are every bit of elements at their beck and call. And I did this a little earlier before the conference today. And when the two law enforcement, well, the FBI and the sheriff both said social media, I think it was the sheriff actually said, social media is so important in this. And we are using everything available to help us. That's it. This is all it. Every element. you have fire, water, earth, and air, and each have their purpose. So that's out for there. Now, it also means initiation, separation, and a moment of independent transition. Next card is the Empress. Now, this Empress card, look how she's sitting back there. She's the counterpart of the Emperor. This Empress is all about, she's relaxed. She's in the flow. She also signifies a brand new beginning, but the reason she comes out is because she's at a threshold space. This is an environment, home, containment, the place that you feel safe, the place that you can sit back and relax. That was at 9:48, and this card repeats, by the way, and look at the number, is 3. Next card is the Hierophant. Now, this Hierophant is a spiritual card, which means, yes, Nancy is being obviously God knows where she is. But this is also the sign of Taurus, which is a very grounding card. This Hierophant is all about movement within systems. It's crossing of rules and routines. It means that Nancy had her little routine. She went in, she closed the garage door, she was getting ready to bed, and all of a sudden, unbeknownst to her, things were happening, and the decision was made to do this. So that's the threshold part. Now, here comes the Empress again. Another number 3. This is at 1:47 a.m. These are all tied to the times. This one, the Magician, is at 5:32. That's when she was with family. The Empress, 9:48. The threshold space where she returned home overnight, okay? Not overnight, but she returned home. The Hierophant, 9:50, where the garage door closes, and 2:12 a.m., the motion, and the 12:02, the escalation. So there's 3 events tied to this guy. Now the Empress shows up again. This is at the return of the threshold, which means signals are lost. And yes, it's right card. Signals are lost. It's 1:47 a.m. and 2:28 a.m. This has a lot to do with it. Keep these in mind. We're going to lay out cards in a minute. The Emperor, physical structure, material reality, and now evidence has been left behind. This guy is all about stoicism, doing the right thing, experience, wisdom, power, and knowing when to basically fight, when to go into battle. This is also the sign of Aries. Now, last but not least is the Lover's card, the sign of Gemini. This is all about authority, the decision point, and outside interventions. At 2:12 p.m. on February 1st, the sheriff arrives at Nancy's home. So, let's go on. So the Empress and the Hierophant cycle. Empress and the Hierophant cycling, because there are several events tied to these two, means there's a struggle between personal space and imposed structure. Repeated disruption within the home boundary and movement without resolution. The Emperor appears only once, marking a return to the physical reality, confirmation that the threshold was crossed. So she returned home, and then confirmation that it's crossed. Now the Lover card appears only one time, and that is at the point of arrival of authority. And it's a decision of external choice. That's where they start making choices, and then, of course, containment of the situation. And by the way, I am going to say this. Something is off in this investigation. because they cleared the crime scene and they just let it go. Then the FBI steps in and they're like, oh, no, hello. Look, pal, here comes the crime tape. Here comes the caution tape. And here come the dogs. So I wonder, between that time when they closed the crime scene with the local law enforcement, that FBI showed up and they opened the crime scene again. Was this contaminated? Could family have been walking in there, walking around, touching things? Probably not, but we don't know who was in there. And this area, it's not rural, but there's not neighbors close by. There's not big street lights. So anyone could have gone in there. Just saying. This also means a shift from personal to institutional control. Nancy lost control. And now institutional law enforcement comes. So here's the thing. The major arcana with the Empress is all about this number 3 is a 2:28 a.m. gate. What is the gate? When you go from one space and you enter into another, you open the gate. That's this Empress. In my forensic study of this, a repeated Empress at critical hours indicate severance from monitoring, loss of visibility rather than collapse, and a movement into an unobserved state. This marks a transition, not an ending. So far, okay? Now, there's all kinds of different historical and high desert types of geography related to Catalina foothills. There's ancient settlement paths, north and south desert movement, mountainous concealment zones, signal interruption, and orientation loss. In my codex, threshold landscapes, concealment corridors, and remember, we had a card yesterday that said concealment, and all about delayed discovery zones. Delay line, which is the number 40 latitude. Displacement rather than erasure. Concealment rather than destruction, and difficulty in detection rather than chaos. Now, we have this red stuff at the threshold. It marks interpretation. It does not mark completion. It indicates a crossing and not a conclusion. So as far as the numerology is concerned, so far so good. Nancy should still be with us. The location points to an event centered at a boundary of the home, not deep interior, and not distant relocation point. So here's the thing. As of today, the current date, it comes to a number 8. When we add up this current date of February 5th of 2026, the 8 is an infinite symbol. You see that right there? Well, look what we have here on the Magician. You see the infinite symbol, infinity. That is also for the sign of Leo, and also strength. Take a break, everybody, if you need to take a breath, okay? We're getting to the cards, so thanks for hanging in on me. The strength corresponds with large systems, endurance, containment, slow but sustained pressure, and this aligns with federal involvement, expanded scope, and prolonged solution window. Meaning she should have been found by now. The numeric and arcana pattern indicates interruption rather than closure, concealment rather than erasure, and displacement rather than collapse. The sequence remains open, meaning it's not concluded. No completion markers are present, which means so far the numbers are not saying that Nancy is gone. Now, from the time that I record this and post it, things can happen. We don't know. Because there is free will in this, my darlings. And people who do these types of things, judgment is not a forte. All right. The pattern has not closed. The threshold has been crossed. The arc remains suspended. The arc meaning this event. She is not in silence. She is in concealment. That's what I'm getting from this, meaning I hope and pray that she is still here with us. Now, give me a second. I'm going to get the cards. Here we are back again, and thank you so much. This was a shorter version, and I was trying to hurry up through it because I didn't want anybody to be bored. But you may want to watch it again. And now I've got cards, and we're going to read on this because the energy is here. The key is here, the key to conceal, the whole thing. So we're going to just leave this all out here now. And let me know, put a 1 in the chat. I'll know exactly what you mean if you put a 1 in the chat. And 1 means you want to see me do more missing cases, missing person cases. I have read on some. Children bother me, but I'll do it. You read these in pairs. So I'm going to put a 1 to go with these people. I'm sorry here. I don't read those in reverse. Do I have that? No, I don't have that in reverse. All right. I have my deck upside down. Okay. Let's see what these are. Look at that. A key and a cross and a ship. I'm going to be frank with you. The numbers say that she's still here. The cards are saying time is running out. I'm not predicting that. That's not up to me. That's God's department. I don't try to take that from him, nor would I ever. But I will tell you this. You see there's water here, and then there's a moon card. That's Pisces. There's water all over here. The key, and of course we have this cross that matches the Hierophant card. The mountain card. Mountains, water, park. I don't think she's too far away. I also think the impression that I got, because I lay out cards when I'm looking at conferences like we just watched, is they are definitely going to say, oh no, there's no person of interest. Oh no, there's no there's no, and then later on they say, well, yeah, we're not ruling out anyone. Well, you know what? That is to make people relax. Because when people relax and they don't think anything is going on, then they start making mistakes. They've already made a mistake and it's stupid. Now, they're not going to announce anything like that officially. Not yet. An arrest has been made this morning, but it was an imposter for one of the ransom notes. Why, people, why do you do that? All right, my darling, so this is shown. Remember we had that card yesterday of the person in a boat with a woman and going from choppy waters into much calmer seas. This is it. This is it. And this Pisces intuitive gut instinct. This is everything built around suspicion. We have 3 8s here, 24. And guess what? 3 eighths are 24. 2 plus 4 is 6. And it fits with the numerology that we just did. You see how that is? This king, this is the head pin. I'm just going to say it. He's the king of this, not the investigation, but he's the king and that's what I'm going to say. Water. And believe me, no pun intended, something is very fishy when it comes to this. And you see all this indication of water. Okay, I'm glad we've got that out. So we're asking spirits, guides, angels, tell us now. Confirm, give us a direction. Look at all these basic, I'm just going to say crime cards, except for this. This gets to a number 9. 1 plus 8 is a 9, and that is a completion. And I'm going to say this should be completed. Ooh, will I go out on a limb and say we should know something? Today is Thursday. Should we know something more by Monday? We should. We should. Now, remember, it's all based on free will and the movement. If somebody else moves in and they disrupt an investigation or something, then those timelines change. That shows an arrest, but there's an arrest pending. There's an arrest coming. And now there's despair. It is not despair of the family. It's the despair of those who abducted Nancy. Because they know they're hit. They know it's coming. And they know that they're just not going to tickety boom and just walk away from this. They know. Because guess what? Adjudication, justification, justice is coming. And look, there is a number 3 there. 3 plus 0 is 3. So that is all going to happen. And there we go with a number 5. So you see how this goes. Now this was a journey. Nancy, they took her. They just take her next door. But I do not believe that she's out of state right now. Right now, I do not see that she's traveled that far out of state. Let's take another look. There's an officer. This is the perpetrator. This is an officer. You see how we keep getting these references to different cards? The Hierophant, this priest, this cross, and then the gift. I'm going to tell you something. I believe they've gotten several ransom notes and I really don't believe any of them so far are real. They're saying that their money, one may appear to be real. They're thinking about things. There's definitely a message coming. There's a message coming to the family. Definitely. Okay. This is what's called a forensic deep dive. I usually do this on my own, and I usually take as long as it takes. There's the child. There's the birds. They showed up yesterday. What do birds do? You've heard some expressions. Well, if I were a little birdie. Or a little birdie told me. Well, this is near the message card. So a little birdie is going to start coming in and start telling. This book now is open. They're writing destiny. They're writing their own, and believe me, the FBI doesn't mess around in these types of situations. They are on it 24/7. They are the best of the best and the elite when it comes to these type of situations. They will find her. Now, This 10 of Diamonds is all about communication with the home. This is a timing card, but look at the ring. Now, the ring may be jewelry of Nancy, but I'm going to go one step further. It is commitment. And that commitment to find two things. The commitment to find Nancy, but the commitment by the perps to continue this until they go forward. Why? Well, first of all, we have a heart card here. So Nancy needs her medication. There is the person. So we have two males out here. Okay. And there's the female. She's going to be found, and I know that there's, but is there some sound? I don't even know that area. It can be historical. Don't know, but the tower. Now, in this particular oracle deck, the tower, it does not have the same meaning as the tarot. The tower here is all about government and medical. And we've got, I'm going to say, borderline, not diagnosing now, a borderline medical emergency, if not a medical emergency. They know it. Now the clock is royally ticking. I'm going to have to check on the weather in Arizona, but this star card means there are sacrifices and there is suspicion, but they're going to get a tip. They're going to get a tip from somebody involved. They're going to get a tip. Somebody's going to get scared. Somebody, will they sing? I don't know. But now's the time. And you heard the FBI say, now's the time. Now's the time. Before it gets worse. And believe me, if you're watching this and you're involved, not going to go easy on you. And I said something yesterday that I want to be corrected, and many of you were kind in correcting me about the reward. It does seem low coming from Savannah and the family, and that's because it didn't come from her. It is a law enforcement organization type for information leading to the arrest and conviction, blah, 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 of these people. So that was not family issued. My apologies. So just so you know, but thank you very much for those who kindly put me back on the right path. All right, here we are. Look what we've got. A confirmation of that person. Jealousy. These cards they're not good cards. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that they are. But there is the sacrifice. There is indecision. We have that up here in one of the cards without tearing up my card reading. Now, here's when we get in, they're going to start talking. It is a medical emergency at this point. This person who is involved is extremely high tense, high pressure, and very frustrated. Now, Nancy has a wound. We don't know where it is. So they've, it's one thing based on another thing. I hope and pray that we hear for her tonight. Now, my cards, the forensics say that it's not over yet. I know the investigation is not over yet, but let's just hope that Nancy is still with us on this earth. Here's a lump sum of money. Here is people that are asking. There are money worries now connected with this person. This card right here is basically saying, oh boy, there's a need for caution. And definitely, basically saying, watch what you do. There's definitely some worry there. Now, the family will give money if there's proof of life. There's not been yet. I don't know if they're going to get one, because the perps know if they even contact, if there's any type of contact, that's it. Because they can be found immediately through any type of contact. They can't outsmart the FBI on this. They've already made 2 mistakes. They're in fear, and I've said that right from the beginning. Immobilized fear. They know that there is a certainty in this uncertainty. They know more than, and what I mean by that is the certainty in this uncertainty. Well, they are certain that something is going to happen. They just don't know what. This is a card right here, this 4 of Hearts. I like it because it's basically saying, look, people are hurting. This is, but it's based on the past. And it's also saying, wait and see. Wait and see. Don't doubt. Wait and see. I know there's a lot of frustration. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to lay out and it's a long video. My apologies, my darlings. There's hope. There's sadness. There's hope. But the sadness comes beforehand. The unexpected joy. I have hope. Even though I've seen some cards and things over the last few days don't pick up her energy very well. And that happens when you're physically not well. I will continue to read on this until she is found, and I will continue to read during whatever trial and discipline this is. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.